Welcome to Dollars and Cents, hosted by Sanjiv Gupta CPA. Dollars and Cents is the show about growing more of what you are making, saving more of what you are growing, and making more of what you are growing and saving in the most sensible and tax-efficient manner possible. Feel free to call into our studio number to be live on air with your questions. Call 408-912-5038. That's 408-912-5038. and here is your host of Dollars and Cents, Sanjiv Gupta CPA.
Good evening, friends. This is your own CPA, Sanjiv Gupta CPA. Welcome to today's information-packed Dollars and Cents show, which has been aired for the last 9 months or so now. The whole goal behind this show is to provide information relating to taxes, relating to money, how to grow that money in your pocket, and how to make more money from those money that you saved and grow, and how to invest in the right manner from the tax point of view. That's the whole objective of the show. I've been bringing to your kind attention a lot of things that are happening in the tax arena. It's full of changes. Like we say, location. This is the 2020 year has been changes. Now we are looking for a new change that is going to happen. $1.9 trillion of stimulus bill that was passed today in the House. It was passed last week in the Senate. Today it got passed in the House, and is going to be on the table of the President Biden this week, who's going to expected to sign this bill. We are going to cover this in a dollar update. Some provisions of this American Rescue Plan Act, as it's going to impact your tax returns in a short summary format. We're going to dive into more details next Wednesday relating to the relevant provisions which you can use to your maximum benefit. In the American Rescue Plan Act, we call it ARP Act. One important thing is going to change the way you do to 2020 tax returns. So hold on to your 2020 taxes. Don't go ahead and file your 2020 taxes if you have received unemployment, because as per this new act that has been passed on the House, still to be signed by President Biden, up to $10,200 to be exact, unemployment money that you received for 2020 will not be taxable. So if you have received a statement, 1099-G, for 2020, it is showing like, say, 40,000 unemployment benefit received by an individual, up to $10,000, $10,200 will not be taxed. So if you already filed the return for 2020, you need to amend it. And it is $10,200 per individual. So if you're married filing joint, it's $10,200 multiplied by 2, $20,400 will not be taxable. That's a great benefit. So again, changes. That's what's happening. COVID era is changing things. It's making things difficult, not only for taxpayers. It's same thing for the tax preparers, the CPAs, the EAs. All these people are living in the nightmare. What to do? Whether to file the return, whether to file the extension, whether to make the payment for the taxpayers, or this keeps on changing the regulations. And on top of it, we have the California changes. And California, by the way, again, I keep saying, the legislators of California are so lazy, they don't even do anything. They have not done anything for PPP loan forgiveness expense deduction. That they have talked about this last on February 24th. The governor said they have agreed on the PPP loan forgiveness expense deduction up to $150,000, but they're doing nothing to sign that into law. And what happens now? If those business owners who have received money, PPP money, we cannot do anything for them till that become law. So what is happening with the tax returns, which is due date is March 15, we have to file extension for them. So we're going to cover that on what's going to happen in our dollar topic on the S Corp and LCs. We're going to cover that because March 15 is coming around. Today is March 10th. By that way, if you have any questions, this is the time to call the studio line. Studio number is 408-912-5038. 408-912-5038 is the studio number. This is the time for your questions. You can call the studio line. You're getting a CPA to answer your questions. This is a time of tax time, we call it. A lot of people have a lot of questions. I can imagine the questions that are coming. We get calls all along in the office, asking questions one after the other. What is the capital gains? What is stock trading? What is RSUs, ESPPs, real estate sales? What is business deductions, QBI deductions, rebate checks, unemployment compensation, family leave, paid sick leave, paid family leave benefits, you name it, we have it. All those things are there. So if you're one of those listeners who has a question and are looking for an answer to that question, this is a time to call the studio line, which is 408-912-5038. 408-912-5038. What other provisions are there in the American Rescue Plan? So one thing we know is the $10,200 for per individual unemployment insurance for 2020 will not be taxable, provided they have the AGI less than $150,000. Then there is economic impact payment, we known as a stimulus payment of $1,400 per individual and dependent, including dependent over age 17. Earlier, the rebate, the stimulus checks were meant for dependent under age 17. Now, if you are a dependent that is claimed on a tax return of your parent, then, and your age is over 17, you can get a stimulus payment. The parent can get a stimulus payment. So the age bar has been increased beyond 17. So that's a welcome relief. And there's a $1,400 payment. But remember, of course, there are AGI limitations. Of course, that they don't want to give to people making more money. So single people making less than 150, making less than 75,000 will get $1,400, and it can go out fully if your income increases to 80,000. So $5,000 will take out dollar to dollar $1,400 increase in income. For married filing joint, its income levels, AGI is capped at 150,000, and it will go out fully, but if your AGI is more than $160,000. Now, a question that always come up is whether I should go ahead and file 2020 to get this money. Remember, this stimulus payment is based on 2020 taxes. It's based on it's a rebate, it's an advanced rebate for 2021 taxes. So if you don't get it, don't worry, you can get it on when you file your 2021. Of course, the question will come up: do I have to wait for next year to get this money? Or should I file 2020, or should I not file 2020 taxes to get this money? So you have to look at your 2019 tax returns and 2020 taxes that you're going to do and see where your income level is. If you're making more money in 2020, don't file it. File extension, get the money in. If your income is less in 2019, if your income is more in 2019 but less in 2020, then go ahead and please file it as soon as possible. So again, these things have to be looked into when you're doing your taxes, either by yourself or with a CPA. I would recommend go and talk to a CPA, get your things done. If you need our services, we have 3 offices: Fremont, Sunnyvale, Pleasanton. We have an extreme good staff, people who have been experienced in working taxes over the period for last 15 plus years. They are experienced CPAs, CAs in my office who have dealt with these changes month after month. We have been providing the training for them so that they can answer any complex questions that will arise with so many changes. Remember, in 2020, we have CARES Act, we have TCD, TRA Act, now we have an ARP Act. And remember, before the starting of 2020, there was Secure Act, which also changed the regulation relating to retirement distributions and plan and other provisions relating to student and other things. So if you're that person, if you are looking for getting support, if you're looking to get idea to get going on this kind of stimulus payments and to maximize the refund, or to see how to lower your income so that you can get this payment, and you need tax planning, call our office number is 510-825-7563, 510-825-7563, and our website, sanjivcpa.com, SANGIV, CPA.com. We have so many good information out there on the website. We have up-to-date information. I do a lot of videos and we provide a lot of information, and we keep updating that website with a lot of content which can really help you. A lot of people call me and say, I get this information from the website. Thank you for providing that information on the website. Thank you for giving the information to our community. So it's all because of your support we are able to do this and able to provide that support. So if you are one of those listeners and have a burning question, this is a time to call the student line 408-912-5038, 408-912-5038. Now, one more provision which is important from individual tax point of view with regard to American Rescue Plan Act is they are going to provide 6 months of free Cobra benefit. So a lot of people have been laid off from jobs and they're getting Cobra benefits. So if you're that person who are getting Cobra benefits, 6 months, whatever payment you're doing, they are going to reimburse you for that 6 months. What are those payments? What are those months? Well, they define it April to September of 2021, but that's a welcome relief. A lot of people are getting Cobra benefits. It's a good provision. We have to look into the details of that. So that's why I said I'm going to discuss more next week when we have all the relevant provisions in front of us. What about business taxes? For those business owners who own restaurant, they are going to get the restaurant revitalization grants to cover restaurant losses, which is based on the revenue loss. So 2019 to 2020, if you have a revenue loss in a restaurant because the restaurant have not been opened up or they are partially opened, if your losses, and you can prove the details of that by means of documentation that there were losses, of course, there are certain parameters to be set. There will be grant given by the SBA. And by the way, SBA is so much behind. I don't know how many people are experiencing this delay by the SBA when they apply for PPP loans. Right now, the SBA is not giving that PLP number. Earlier, it was so efficient. Now it's becoming slower and slower. Of course, they have to do the due diligence. Of course, they have to do all the checkups and marks on the application received so far. But they have been very slow. And by the way, PPP loan program was the second round is going to go by March 31st. So this American Rescue Plan did not extend the time beyond March 31st. So if you are one of those business owners who are thinking about it, please don't think, go forward and apply. If you qualify for the 50% drop, 25% drop in the revenue in any one quarter of 2020 compared to 2019, go ahead. And if you're small business owners and you're sole proprietor having a lot of gross income but less of net profit, don't worry. You can still apply based on gross income. Based on gross income, you can still apply, and still you have some time to be in front of the queue of the big people, provided your number of employees should be less than 20. So go ahead and apply for this loan, PPP2, which is excellent loan, by the way. It has second draw and first draw. So these are some of the provisions that exist in this one, American Rescue Plan Act, which passed the House. We are still waiting for more details. Once it becomes a law, when it becomes a law, it gets signed by President Biden, hopefully this week. And this time he's making sure that he explained the provisions to different people, to different segments of the people, so that they can come forward, they can understand what is all there, and they will not get negative elements out there that is just a pushover by the Democrats, and Republicans are not liking it and they don't understand. So he's doing a lot of marketing gimmicks to explain things to the public at large. So this is time for questions. You can call the studio line number 408-912-5038. 408-912-5038. Now let's go to our topic of the day of the show, which is about March 15 deadline. March 15 deadline is about S Corp and LLC, multi-member LLC. Now, in case of LLC, one thing I want to make things clear for all of you. If you have an LLC, you have to really look into and find out what type of LLC you are in. Are you a single member or multi-member? Now, people, husband, wife, they think they are multi-member, but it's not the case. It can be a single member LLC because husband, wife can be treated as one or can be treated as two individuals. So how do you find out about that? It's better to look at your EIN letter that you receive from the IRS that tells you is a single member, multi-member. There are two ways that they define it. One way is you look at the letter, they say it's a sole member, that means single member. And the second way is look at the body, in the body of the letter, it tells you the form 1040, that means it's part of the 1040 single member LLC files as a single Schedule C. And if it says form 1065, that means a partnership, that means you applied when you got the EIN number, you applied as a multi-member LLC. So that's the way you look into it to find out whether single member and multi-member LLC. By the way, a lot of CPAs do a lot of mistake when they prepare these taxes for single member, multi-member LLCs, because they don't look into the proper documentation, they believe the client, and what happens in the end? The wrong filings happens. We have seen this a lot of time, and we have found a lot of mistakes done on the tax preparation by the CPAs. My firm has been, like I said, has been doing this for the last 15 plus years. I've been doing all kinds of complex tax treatments, tax filing requirements for S Corp, C Corp, LLCs. We do the bookkeeping, we do payroll for a lot of clients, and we do the tax planning and tax support. That's our goal. Myself as CPA and also as chartered accountant from India. By the way, we're doing a webinar on March 27th. That webinar is all about foreign income, foreign asset reporting, a very popular topic. We already have about 40% people registered for this webinar. One of the very popular topic we have, foreign income, foreign asset reporting. So if you're one of that person who has foreign income coming from rental income, coming from sale of property, coming from interest income and dividend income, coming from salaries and other things, or you're having foreign assets like mutual funds, you have insurance policies, cash under value, bank accounts, you have PPF accounts, you have other liquid assets in India, NSCs and whatnot. You have other things in India like stocks, brokerage, and other things. Then you definitely look at, and the balance in 1 and 2 is more than $10,000. This webinar is for you. So before doing your taxes for 2020, just listen to what is there on the webinar. Any questions, you can call the studio line 408-912-5038. 408-912-5038. So when it comes to the LLC part, like I said, you have to look at the single member and multi-member LLCs. When it comes to the S corporation, you have to look at same thing, whether it's a S corp or whether it's a C corp, not converted to S corp. You can do election to convert to S corporation by filing the form 2553. Now, when you look at the corporation taxes, you have to also identify whether they are SSTB or non-SSTB, because SSTB has different regulations, non-SSTB has different regulations. What about the tax payments for those businesses? Of course, we know S corporation is passed through. You don't pay federal taxes on S corp. What about California? You definitely pay 1.5% tax on the net profit. Minimum is $800. So what about that? If you're filing extension, how do we make the extension? It's automatic extension with the federal. What about the tax payment? Whether you can do the tax payment for $800 or you can estimate the taxes based on net profit. If it's more than $800, make the estimated tax payment with the extension. You can go online and make the payment. What about LLC? LLC also has the LLC fees based on the corporate gross revenue, not the net revenue. So what about that LLC fees? Well, of course, we know April 15, we know June 15 is a deadline, but I will not wait for such a long time. I will go ahead and make the payment now. I don't want to pay any penalties. So you can estimate based on your gross income. The LLC fees goes from $800, $900, it can go up to $11,000 depending upon your gross revenue, not on net. Those are the things that goes with the tax payments for the corporations and LLCs. So those are on March 15. Now the question that comes up always is, will that be extended? With this deadline will be extended? Well, we don't know how the IRS works. They can change at the 11th hour. As of now, as of March 10th, 6:50 p.m., there's no extension we have heard so far. Maybe next moment you IRS can come out and say, oh, we are extending it. Of course, CPAs want those deadline to be extended because so many things are changing around. It does not make sense to file a tax return with so much complexities out there and so many changes out there. So you need to file a complete return. You can't file a wrong return. So it's better to file extension. Now, if you're ready with all the documents, if you really want a refund, go ahead and file. You can call our office also. Our staff are working and we are working in the office. Call the office number 510-825-7563, 510-825-7563, 510-825-7563. And my website is sanjivcpa.com, SANJIV-CPA.com. Now, when it comes to the filing the tax returns for the S Corp and LLCs, there are some things that have changed in the tax forms for the S Corp, particularly relating to the basis calculations, particularly relating to QBI deduction. They want more information on the K1s and also on distributions. Now on the K1, you see the loans from the shareholder. There's a separate line item they're provided on the left side of the form, which asks for the loans from the corporation, from the shareholder to the corporation. Why they want that line? Because it increases the basis. That's why they want to know if any loan has been given by the corporation as corp shareholders to the companies. If there's no loan, then if this loan should be evidenced by a promissory note, and there should be interest and there should be repayment. Just putting money as a loan does not qualify, does not increase the basis, because what happens in case of audit, they can recharacterize that loan as a distributions and it will be subject to taxes and or payroll. A lot of people don't want to take payroll in case of S corporation. That's wrong. You need to take a reasonable payroll. We are coming to very few minutes of the show. If you have any questions, this is the time. These are last minute questions. Please call the studio line 408-912-5038. 408-912-5038. So when it talks about the shareholder basis, that's important to understand. In case of S corporation, the loans only given by the shareholder increase the basis. The loan given by the banks to the corporation does not increase the basis. In case of LLC, they do increase the basis. In case of LLC, the basis is much easier computed as compared to the S corporation. That's why under K1, we see a change on the left-hand side of the K1 form. It shows the loans. They need more information on the loans. They need more information on QPI deduction. They need more information on distributions because they want to catch you doing wrong things. So do look at your tax returns before you file. Just don't close your eyes. Just don't go ahead and do online filings. Just wait for PPP loan forgiveness expense deductions coming from California FTB and do the right filing. If you have any questions, you can call my office number 510-825-7563. With that, I end the show and hope everybody's keeping safe. We are coming to close to the end of this COVID virus. Take the vaccine when it's available. Of course, our Alameda County is come to the red zone. pray to God that we'll be all coming together in the month of May, June. Everything will be normal, of course, with precautions. With that, I'll meet you next Wednesday, same time, 6:37. Thank you and bye-bye.
If your business has made a lot of profit and you are looking for ways to substantially reduce your tax liabilities by taking the full benefits available under TCJA and the CARES Act, then set up a consultation appointment before the 2020 tax year runs out. Call Sanjiv Gupta CPA today at 510-825-7563. That's 510-825-7563 or visit sanjivcpa.com.
What's with you, baby? I never felt this way before.